everyone. Hey, congratulations for Triple Threat.
Thank you.
Yay.
Yeah, it's such a wonderful film. It almost makes me feel like I need to watch Firefly after this film. So
We agree.
People keep saying that. They're like, oh, are you making the musical? And we're like, I don't know, we gotta think about that.
It's definitely one of the more challenging parts of that story. Yeah.
Yeah.
well, let's start with this. Is what originated this film in the first place? What sparked this?
Sure. So, hi, I'm Stacey. I am the director and the co-writer with Jay. I play Chloe in the film too. The original idea sparked from the fact that I had a lot of male friends who were talking about wanting to have kids, and a lot of female friends who were like less on that train. And I was like, oh, well, I've seen a lot of media about, people hitting 30 and women who are like, oh, I got to run to a sperm bank and I got to like have a baby, and like women having baby fever. But I haven't seen a lot of media about men having baby fever. So I thought that it would be really interesting to sort of turn the tables and flip the script, if you will, and have this film about a male artist who asks his female friends to help him have this child. I also love musical theater. I'm like a huge musical nerd. I'm like obsessed with it. And I thought it would be really interesting to like create a film about, we've all seen those movies about the dreamers, right? Like, you're young and you're a dreamer and you want to be an artist, but what does that look like? What does being an artist look like when you hit 30 and you're really like a working artist? And like, how do you like keep those dreams going and balance that with wanting to have a family? And yeah, so that was Spark, the initial one. All of those things.
So which was it that was harder, trying to develop this movie or trying to develop a musical within the movie?
The musical was a really big challenge for us as writers. Not that the story developed both from the original spark, and then just over time it sort of was birthed. But the musical itself was less natural and more work. We had to really dig into, because we talked a lot about when there is a piece of art within a piece of art, it's got us, the piece within should say something that connects to the piece without. So anyway, my point being, we were really trying to write the musical intentionally, and that wasn't easy.
Yeah, like the musical, we definitely wanted it to serve the film story. So we had to think about how all those scenes would serve like the larger story of the film. And we actually filmed a lot more of the musical than what actually made it into the final cut. Like there's a lot more scenes of the development. You see a lot more of, the other actors in the musical. But, that's filmmaking, I guess. Your babies get left on the cutting room floor.
So in terms of all this, which of you have like musical theater background before this film, or did you have to develop it as you progress?
We're the ones who are more into it, but Margarita
is a lover from afar.
But we were like, oh, and by the way, you're gonna have to play the piano and be the writer of this musical, so get ready.
Well, it's great because this is why we love to act. Like Stacey and Jay and I have talked, like they are people that love musicals. I'm a person that enjoys musicals, but Triple Threat is the perfect movie for both audiences because people aren't singing all of the dialogue to each other. It's like contained within the stage. And that makes, I think, it very like easily accessible as a person that likes musicals, but, isn't as into it.
Well said.
But to like also answer the question of who has musical experience, all of the actors in the musical itself, like we're all doing the actual singing. So it's all of us actually singing, actually dancing. The only person who had a double was Margarita's hands for playing the piano. So just Margarita had a hand double for playing for their piano playing. But everybody else is an actual like musical person.
Yes.
Well, speaking of hands, Margarita, talk about wearing the pregnancy suit in this film?
Wow, it was honestly just, I'm a person that doesn't want to have children, and that was one of the reasons I liked this so much, because I got to sort of like experience from the outside what it's like to be perceived as pregnant, and like taking the train with the baby suit on. Like when we were doing company moves, people just react to, they're, oh, do you need me to move? Or like, I'm sorry, are you okay? And I'm like, I don't need anything. This is great.
Wild.
It was very wild. And just like people reacting, like on social media, I would post like a big update from my life. Nobody cares. But then I post a picture of me with a baby belly and everybody's like, congratulations. And I'm like, thanks. Check out my movie. That's what this is about. But wearing it physically, I mean, it was just fun. And of course, sometimes sweaty. But you know,
heavy. That thing was heavy.
That thing was heavy. I think we like kept it light on set by just like being super silly between takes and being like, I got this jiggly belly. I got this jiggly belly. And then it'd be like action. Then you're like sad and serious because Gus wants to name the baby without me.
That is great. I mean, Stacey, you could chime in on this because it's funny is because your character was all into the social media stuff, and doesn't all of this feel kind of meta in a way that you know, your real lives kind of blend in with this movie?
Yeah, this film is incredibly meta. We experienced that. You know, I think we didn't even know how much the art reflected life and life reflected art until we were like really so deep inside of it. And, you know, like these are my two best friends in my life. Obviously, like this story is not based on reality. Like Mars and I did not help Jay have a baby, but it is very truthfully based on who we are as people and like how we see the world, how we think about the world, and like intentionally it's very truthful. So to like sort of go through those journeys with like your two best friends in a fictional way, and then you have to like live your actual real life where you're like just friends, it's definitely like this interesting dynamic, and we had to like unpack all that once we finished filming. For sure.
The lines do get very blurry, and it continues to be meta as we are here releasing the film.
I was going to ask about your guys' chemistry. So all three of you been friends for quite a long time. Is it like back in college, like in the film, or what?
Jay and I have been friends since we were teenagers. Like Jay and I have been choreographing dances. We've been running around New York City like silly kids since we were like quite young. Mars and I met like 8 years ago now, and wow. That friendship started fast and strong and has continued fast and strong.
And one of the cool things about making Triple Threat really was Jay was living abroad when Stacey and I met, and we're starting to become like close collaborators and besties, and I got to get to know Jay better through the making of this movie and got to get to know.
Because I just realized I met you in 2015. Yeah, so that means it's been
you met Mars while we were filming.
Yeah. But yeah, indeed. Then I came home in 2016, and that's where we started to really become friends. Yeah. So it's been,
very meta.
So meta.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could tell just by this interview on it, you know, chemistry in the movie, how you guys get along together, doing all of this. So that's terrific.
Oh my God, sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say it's like opening like little portals of yourself. So like, you know, there is not generally like a love story between Stacey and Jay, but you have to like open a portal to a different universe where that could exist. And like
a little bit of a love story.
But yeah,
you know what I mean. Then we open the portal and we get to really see
what that would have looked like.
Yeah. And if we are still as close as we are after making this project, then I think we have become family.
We are family.
Yeah.
We are a family forever trying to skate.
Now, the challenge of making a movie like this is it's like making two movies, because you have to make the story movie and then you have to make the musical part. Tell us what Firefly was supposed to be, and the songs behind Firefly.
So The original like Firefly, that song, we got connected to Carter and Gregor, who are these like amazing musical theater writers. Like they've had shows at the Kennedy Center. They've had shows like tour all over the world. They're like amazing. And we got connected to them through a friend of one of our executive producers. And he was like, you should meet these composers. And so they sent us some like demo tracks that they were working on at the time. And they sent us a recording, like a demo recording of Firefly, of what they were at the time calling Advice to a Young Firefly. And it was written, they had written this song for as like a big solo number. And I heard the song and I was like, okay, I love this music. I love this song. And I started talking and I was like, what do you think if this turns into like this ensemble piece and we make it like a pop score? And they were like, yeah, like if you want to use this music, like go to town. And so like really like hearing this demo that they sent us like sparked off all of that music. And the song Firefly really like sparked the whole
That's true.
like story inside of the film. And we sort of like took the music and started writing like the story of the musical world from hearing Firefly.
The story of the musical is of misfits on an island.
Yeah, 7 misfits on an island. It's sort of like Maze Runner meets musical theater is how I would describe Firefly the musical. But it was a huge challenge, like doing that. And the music, we really filmed it. And I know like some of the actors from the musical part are going to talk about this later, but we really filmed like all the musical stuff in a section. So like we had the musical developed, the music developed, we recorded all of the music like with the cast. Then we did all the rehearsals for choreographing it. And then we filmed all of that in like the first big chunk of filming that we did. So like all that musical stuff was in our like first big week of filming, which was like crazy because it was so hard and so complicated. And that was like what we started with. We were like, yeah, let's just like go to town and like have like this giant dance number be like our first 2 days, go.
That's crazy.
It was crazy, but it was fun.
So much fun.
You know, I think part of it was like we knew it was going to be crazy, but we didn't know how crazy. And it was like that, what do you call it when like you don't know how hard something's going to be, so you just approach it like it's going to work out?
Filmmaking.
Right.
Exactly.
There you go.
I'm sure there's a better word, but that's what it sounded like to me.
Well, I mean, people who watches it will certainly fall in love with the choreography and the scenes out of Firefly. I mean, especially, you know, the lights in the hands was a very, very nice touch. I think that probably fooled a lot of people why they think Firefly is a real thing.
I love that. That makes me really happy.
Me too. And also the soundtrack came out today.
It did, yes. The soundtrack, you can stream it as of today on Spotify and Apple Music and Tidal and Amazon Music, like all the platforms. It's very exciting.
We're getting so meta out here, but anyway.
Can't help it. We can't help
it.
Well, Margarita Mars, question for you is, are you glad you didn't really have to do the musical performance besides the piano?
No, I would love to play a musical performer. I think that would take like somewhat of a higher budget for me to have like some training to prepare to be able to like even work with a double that can like, you know, to make it seamless. So someday I look forward to
I was going to say, you be careful what you wish for, because we will cook up something.
Exactly.
I want it so bad. I'm always like, Stacey, Jay, teach me the dances. Teach me the dances. We have, it's going to happen.
I wonder if I remember the dances.
Sure you will.
We'll see.
Well, you know, speaking of dances, Stacey, Jay, tell us about that, the scene for Piece, is it Piece of Me? Pieces of Me?
Yes.
Tell us about that dance and how much water you actually used there.
So that scene was crazy. So we had a different choreographer, Sarah Andreas, who's like amazing for the big Firefly ensemble dance number and Closing the Gap. But this particular song, I always knew that like Jay and I were going to choreograph it and that we were going to do it ourselves, because this is the sort of work that we've been making together like since we met. And I was like, I know that if like we just get in a room and we start like spinning and touching and moving, like it'll find itself. And I started taking like rehearsal videos of us like doing that choreography, and I was showing them to our cinematographers. And my partner Donnie, who's our cinematographer, was like, "Oh, this is reminding me of this scene from Under the Skin." And I was like, I've seen that movie. Which one? And he shows it to me. And he's like, what if this dance was in water? Because I had always wanted it to be in this void, because I'm like, this relationship between Gus and Chloe can only exist in a void because they want different things. And so I really wanted this dance to be in a void. And he's like, we can make a black void, but with water. And I was like, are you going to build me a pool? And the answer was yes. We filmed at a sound stage. We filmed one full day at a sound stage in Brooklyn at the Electric. We built a pool. There was about what, like maybe 6 inches of water, 4 inches of water?
Maybe four.
Maybe like 4 inches of water. The water was quite cold.
Yeah, it's all fun and games until you're in it and you're wet.
Cold.
It was.
That's all I can think of.
We never got to rehearse with the water. So the first time we were like in the water, we were filming it. So we had done all the rehearsals by ourselves without the water. But when you add that water, it was quite slippery. It was cold. It was like the lifts. I was like, oh my God, like I'm slippery. Like I had lotion on. Like they ended up having to put like hairspray on my legs to like make them more matte. So like I wouldn't be slippery on him, which actually it helped a lot.
I don't remember that. Yeah, that was smooth. Yeah.
But it was really fun. It was a whole day. So the first 4 hours of the day were spent like building the pool and filming it. Then we shot this whole intense dance, which took quite a while. And then we also took the pool apart like that same day. And it was at the end of the night, just like me and Mars and a few of our like amazing friends who were like helping Gaff, and our DPs like emptying water out of this like sound stage, like draining it, rolling tarps. It was like quite crazy.
Shout out to Be Electric for just being super down and like supporting our filmmaking for a long time and letting us do whatever we need to do on their stages. And real quick, shout out to Stacey for just being like, watching her that day, doing the dancing and like going through hair and makeup and then running back to watch the monitor and like performing so seamlessly. Like, I'm gonna cry.
Nice. Thank you. Both of you.
No. That was all her idea, and everything she just said, I was just like, I just pure trust, pure love, a little bit of fear, and a lot of electric things and a lot of water.
Do you remember the first time I was like, what do you think if we do this dance in water?
I'm sure I said no.
I like the little bit of fear. I feel like there has to be a little bit of fear to know you're doing something cool.
I think that's 100% true. I think that's 100%. Yeah. So that was definitely one of a memorable day for me.
Very memorable.
Yeah. And it looks good.
I think it looks,
Yeah.
It looks great. Well, all three of you, congratulations once again for Triple Threat. You done a very good job on this film, and I can't wait to, as best friends as you all are, to see what your next project up the line is.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We're excited too. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Have a great one. Great to meet you.